Hey marketers, Bren Hamill here with a new video. And in today's video, what I wanted to go through with you is Facebook ad rules and how you can use them to help manage your Facebook ad campaigns without even touching them. Gone are the days of daily monitoring, checking in a couple of times a day to see how new campaigns and new ad sets are going, whether they're meeting your new CPA thresholds, so on and so forth. This is a way to scale profitable ad sets more quickly and cut less performing ad sets more quickly. Hugely beneficial tutorial today, and I hope you watch the whole lot. So here we go. So Facebook ad rules are fantastic. They really do help you manage your Facebook ad campaigns at the campaign level, the ad set level, and even the ad level, depending upon the types of rules you want to set up and use. They work especially well for CBO, campaign budget optimization campaigns, and for campaigns and ad sets that you've just launched, where you would typically check in a couple of times a day to see if the ad set and all the targeting that you're using, the ad creatives, are actually meeting the CPA thresholds that you want to generate profit for your clients or business. But if you really want to scale your Facebook ads and really crunch down that CPA cost for your business, the best tip that I can give you is to smash that subscribe button and smash that like button. I know that's a little bit of a joke, but it really does help me get more exposure within the YouTube world. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and it does take a fair chunk of time each and every week to produce these videos, and I'm just recovering. This is not the sympathy card, but I am recovering from surgery, so I do apologize that these videos have been few and far between over the last couple of weeks. I'm still taking the odd bit of pain medication. I had a pretty rough knee operation where they had to cut a large chunk of bone and move the lower patella tendon so my patella is tracking properly. Put a couple of screws in there, some other stuff. So yeah, I apologize for the videos being few and far between. But if you do push that like and subscribe button, maybe I'll heal even faster. I'm only joking, but you get the idea. So what is the deal with Facebook ad rules? So you can use Facebook ad rules to help manage your campaigns, which is obvious. But you can use them in different ways and at the different levels of your campaign. So you can use them at the account level, the campaign level, the ad set level, and the ad level. Now you have to be wary if you are using them at the account level, because you might have different campaigns with different objectives. So as you'll understand this with far greater depth later on in the video as we start going through some of the rules that will teach you which rules are fantastic to use straight off the bat and which ones, it'll also teach you, the principles on how to think about which rules are best for your campaigns and your business and your clients, etc. So the problem with setting goals at the account level and that you need to be wary of is that they override all your campaigns, which is obvious, but you really need to have a think about it, because if you have, let's say you have two campaigns. One campaign is selling a product, the goal CPA is $10. You have another campaign over here where the CPA is $2. It's a lead magnet kind of ebook that you're giving away. Now the thing is that you might set up by accident a CPA threshold that turn off ad sets or campaigns for that matter across the whole account if the CPA cost goes over $2. Now, if that is the case, you might have your sale campaign that's selling the product that's for a desired outcome of $10 or less. It may get turned off even though it's performing quite well because the threshold has been set across the whole account, whereas you really only wanted to set it for that lead magnet campaign with the $2 threshold CPA. So it's important for you to quickly wrap that principle around your mind and understand when you are making the rules that you are applying them at the correct level. So here we are in a dummy Facebook ad campaign that I created long ago and I use for tutorials such as this. We have a couple of test campaigns in here that haven't ran any data in the recent times. I have ran them a little bit in the past with case studies and whatnot. But nonetheless, what we want to do is we want to start to create and go through some of these Facebook ad rules. So how do we do that? So the first thing we have to do is come up to here and we have like a little 3 button icon drop down. So if we click that, we can see create a new rule, apply an existing rule, and manage rules. Now it's also important to note that the campaigns that you have selected here will be the ones by default that apply at the campaign level when you click create a new rule. So as you can see here, I have this campaign selected. So as we come up to the drop down menu, we click create a new rule, we see one campaign. As I mentioned before, you can really skin this cat or skin this rule with many different in many different ways. So you can apply it to this one campaign overall. You can apply it to active ad sets and not inactive ad sets. You can apply it to active ads. You can also apply it to these parameters down here. All active campaigns, which is one that you have to be careful of. All active ad sets, again, that's one you definitely have to be careful of. And all active ads, again, one that you have to be careful of. So next we come down to action. Now with action, we have 3 different activities that we can undertake. And this is what's going to happen when the conditions are met below. So we can turn off the campaign, we can turn on the campaign, and we can send a notification to an email address. Now these do change if you change ads or ad sets up here as well. Now when we come down to conditions, this is really where it's horses for courses, and you really need to think about your business, the context of your Facebook ad campaigns, how you what conditions you use, or how you tweak the metrics that are going to govern the conditions that you have selected. So to quickly just run through a couple of them, we have the amount spent, we have lifetime spend, we have frequency, results, cost per result, mobile app installs, things like that. We have settings that we can change or govern or set conditions as by. We've got time, hours since creation, and so on and so forth. I really do recommend going through them because, I mean, as you can see, there's just a whole host of different ones, and depending upon the type of clients that you're working with, if you're an agency, I know lots of agencies like to watch my videos and reach out to me, and I know a lot of business owners especially watch these videos. So depending upon whether you're dealing with clients or you're dealing with your own business, you really do need to pay attention to all the different types of possible conditions that you can use to help you manage your Facebook campaigns. So just to quickly show you some of the changes in actions as you change the top parameter here, apply to rule. If we say active ad sets in one campaign, we come down to actions. We still have the same 3 activities that can occur, but you also have now adjust budget, and we can adjust it in many different ways, and you can read those yourself. And we can adjust manual bid, increase, decrease, scale bid by target field. So what I want to do now is run through some rules that you can really just copy and plug straight into your clients or straight into your business that will help you manage your campaigns really quickly, really effectively, and also get you to quickly understand the principles and the way that you can, tweak and optimize these rules to really mold them for your business, your context, your situation, your campaigns. Okay, so the first rule that we want to have a look at is a cost CPA that turns off active ad sets when a couple of thresholds have been met. So what we have here, we have active ad sets in one campaign that we selected at the start of this video. We have the action to turn off the ad set because the cost of the CPA is too high. And we have a couple of thresholds here that you can use and mold and tweak depending upon your own Facebook ad campaigns. So the conditions that we have to meet here are lifetime impressions have to exceed 8,000 impressions. The cost per result, when it is over $10, and that it has to have spent over $25. Now the time range is today. We can have it set for the previous day, or we can say for the last 2 days, 3 days, etc. So as you probably know, Facebook is notorious for having a declining performance in terms of cost per result, or CPA. Now, what you can do is work it in a time window, be it either today, as I just mentioned, yesterday, 2 days, 3 days. I typically like to use 2 or 3 days as an aggregate. When I'm starting out new ad sets, I like to move it to today. So if I absolutely have an awful ad set that I've created based on whatever parameters, interests, lookalike audience, or what have you. I want that to turn off really quickly. I don't want to waste either my money if it's for my own businesses, or my clients' money if it's for my clients. But over time, as I start to get more data and I know that these campaigns or ad sets are performing well, I want to lengthen the window a little bit to give me a little bit of a buffer, because some days will be good, some days will be bad. There's seasonality within weeks, for instance, within a lot of industries. Some industries do really well on, for instance, a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Some are horrible during the week. You get the idea. Next, you can edit the attribution window. Attributions, it's a fun topic in and of itself, and I should make a video around just attribution and how you can look at it within Google Analytics, so on and so forth. I have spoken about it briefly in previous videos, but I haven't got a dedicated video to it at this stage. So if you're interested in that kind of video, drop me a line below, and perhaps I can put that in the content schedule list and get one done for you guys. So with that being said, after viewing the ad, attribution is pretty simple. So if people view an ad and then complete the conversion action in these parameters, you get the idea. After clicking, after viewing, you kind of get the idea. Attribution is at this level is pretty easy to understand. At a deeper level within the analytics world, for instance, it's a fair bit more complicated, and there's some really useful data that you can use within your own campaigns to optimize, so on and so forth. So the next is the schedule, how often this rule is going to run. So we can run it continuously, daily, or custom. For instance, with custom, you can get your ads to turn on and off depending upon business opening times, for instance. So this can be really useful, and I'm going to talk about this at a later date, but you can get this rule to run at certain periods to make sure that your campaigns are being checked just before either a real downtime that in the evenings might be poor for you, or the evenings might be great for you. The reason why you might want to run this rule in the say late afternoon a couple of times is, just the once. You might run this in the morning, have one rule to run in the morning, one rule to run in the afternoon. The reason is you might want to turn on low performing ad sets because you know the evenings perform better. So for instance, if you had a well performing ad set that for whatever reason on today is performing poorly, it got turned off at midday, saved you some money, and then coming into the evening that conversion rates picks up, the intent behind the visitor's actions is far higher. So you want that ad set to turn back on. You can run a slightly different rule to run at 4 p.m. your local time. It turns back on, and then you get the benefit of running an ad set that has historic good performance at an optimal time. So there's plenty of different ways to really play around with these rules. I'm trying to give you as much context as I can to help you apply these to your own campaigns. Then the last couple of features are just notifications around getting an email. The subscriber, this is just an old agency that isn't around anymore that I used to have. Just neglect that. And then the rule, you name the rule appropriate, using an appropriate naming convention that you will recognize really, really quickly and allow you to manage your rules and work with your rules really efficiently and really effectively. So one thing I do just want to touch upon, I've seen this with, I don't see many Facebook accounts when I either audit them or work initially with a prospect to just have a look at their campaigns, or begin work with a client that has been running Facebook campaigns. Typically most people don't use Facebook rules, and that's perfectly fine. Not optimal in my opinion, but perfectly fine. You need to have a threshold, because if you are running a campaign that's spending $500 a day, you do not want to have a case where one ad set blows for $150 or $250, for example, with no conversions. So therefore, it doesn't have a cost per result at this stage. So you need to have an earlier threshold to meet, such as a amount spent per that day, to really cut that ad set off really quickly. And I should have touched upon this earlier, but I'm still touching upon it now. But it's a really important aspect to really keep in the back of your mind. What is the actual cutoff or final straw that you're willing to put up with within this rule, to make sure that you're not blowing through money, if that makes sense. That's a little bit convoluted in the way I've explained it, but I feel like the ideas still come across in my weird and wacky way. Also, another little calculation that I like to factor in is that, let's say I have a cost per CPA, cost per result of $10. The spent threshold that I like to use is either 2 or 3 times that. So it's either $20 in this case or $30. I went with 25 because it's in the middle. If you've got a tighter budget to work with, you may want to go with 2 times. I don't really recommend 1.5 times. Maybe just the 2 times or 2.5 times is ideal for you. If you are a bit more free because you have good historic data and you have a larger and deeper pockets, larger budget, deeper pockets, you may want to run with that 2.5, 3 cap kind of spend for your threshold. So the next one that I want to talk to you about is for remarketing. So remarketing, your ads can get stale quite quickly depending upon the amount of new visitors that you have coming through the various traffic funnels that you have funneling visitors into your website, for instance. So with that being said, you do not want your ads to get stale and have that CTR start to really fly up. You also have that cost per click to really get expensive. That really drives up the cost per result, and that is pretty much a really poor time for you and potentially your client. So one way to really have fun with this is to use frequency, CTR, and CPC. You don't have to use all 3, but these are just 3 ways that you can help manage your remarketing campaigns in a weird way. Obviously, conversion is always the ultimate factor or the cost per conversion, cost per result is always the ultimate factor in determining whether an ad set is performing well or an overall campaign is performing well. But these are just some parameters if you're worried about branding or things of that nature. So we can set the frequency to if it gets above 3, we are turning the ad set off. We can set that either in and of itself, but for this instant and this tutorial, I've got them all 3 just to go through the principles with you. For instance, if the CTR goes less than 5, we can have the ad set turned off. Or if the CPC starts to really go up because of ad fatigue and things of that nature, we can have a CPC threshold of $2 or whatever you want, of course. Again, all the other same parameters and things still apply. So the scheduling, the attribution window, the time range. Obviously, if you're using frequency or CTR or cost per click for that matter, and you're not getting a huge amount of traffic through your marketing because you are only at the small level or the geographical area doesn't allow you to get much traffic, you might want to, say last 7 days, for instance, if the frequency is above 3. You do not want to run it probably in the one day. You can if you're really hammering home. I mean, if you've got a large budget and you are just absolutely, just smashing people in the face with your ads, you might want to drive that at a lower level because you really don't want to use and abuse your remarketing audiences. So another one to help you stop ad sets or campaigns really wasting money is like a stop loss. People use it stop losses when they're day trading or trading with stocks and whatnot. This one allows you to do as it says, and if you're spent over $25 and you have less than 1 result, it stops the ad set or stops the campaign, depending upon apply what you have set here, where you want to apply the rule to. So this is a really good one to as it says, stop wasted spend really quickly on ad sets that are performing either on the day or on the time range window that you have set. A really nifty one, really easy to set up, and can be really applied to many different ad sets that all have the same objective. So another really good one is having a rule to scale winning campaigns and ad sets. So what we have here, we have active ad sets in one campaign, increased daily budget by 20%. The maximum daily budget cap is, these are all different metrics that you can set on your own accord based upon their own objectives and thresholds that you have within your own business. But these are just theoretical. Daily budget cap will be limited at $500. So no matter how many times this rule will run, the maximum daily budget spend will only be $500. Action frequency will be run daily, once daily, and the conditions that we have to meet a couple of thresholds for this 20% trigger to be pulled. So we have lifetime impressions have to be over 8,000. We actually want to get rid of that one. That's an accident, sorry. So moving on, we have impressions over 8,000, and we have cost per result under 5,000. You can use lifetime impressions as they've mentioned. It really is not going to matter because I'm more worried about how the time range is going to affect it, not so much the lifetime impressions. So if working off the CPA that I started this tutorial with $10. So if we're achieving a CPA of $5, we're doing really well. We want to get more conversions at this $5 mark. So we set up a rule just like this. We want to use the time range threshold of 3 days. 2 days. I would not definitely go under 2 days. Definitely 3 days, potentially even 7. What this does, it allows enough data to accrue for you to have good confidence that this rule will be ran correctly, but also have good context to apply it. It'll have enough data to back up the justification to apply this rule, if that makes sense. Again, we want this to schedule daily. We want a notification when it does occur. So you may get a notification and say, hey, I was spending $500 a day. Now I'm going to spend an extra $100 a day. You might want to check that. Quickly whip in when you get a moment and have a look and just say, yes, this is fantastic. No, there is something wrong. Potentially the ROAS might be poor for whatever reason. It might be just a contextual. It's still a human eye, still needs to look over accounts, and maybe a human eye will want to look over this rule when it's applied. Hey guys, so I had a little bit of an issue with the screen capture software that I use. So I'm just reshooting the very tiny back end of this video. And I just want to talk about a few different aspects that will help you 100%. So I'm glad I'm reshooting this because I do find these last couple of tips really, really beneficial, and I think you'll find them valuable with your Facebook ad effort. So with that being said, so one of the things that you can do is scheduling. So with the daily budget style of campaigns, you can't have daily schedules, but you can use Facebook ad rules to run daily schedules, which is fantastic because if you're in e-commerce, you might have a lot of day parting data, so you can run your ads at optimal times. You might be a brick and mortar business, you only want to run between 9 and 5, so on and so forth. So with that being said, we can set any conditions that we want here that you wish and can conceive. That's perfectly fine, or you can just have it turning off, turning on, just because of the nature that it doesn't perform particularly well, or you don't want ads to show between particular times. So for instance, we come down here, we can set up all the parameters that we wish as you are learning and have learned how to do. But this time we come down to custom. And here we have to select through all of these days that we want to turn ads on and off for. And we can set up multiple times for multiple, within the one day, I should say. So we might say that we just want ads to run between 9 a.m. in the morning and 5 a.m. in the evening. And then we want another go at, let's say, 6 o'clock in the evening to 11 o'clock. And then we might just get rid of that period. So we can start to set days up just like this. So another really good management technique just to manage your campaigns and ad sets, or ad sets more specifically, is when you find a terrible performing ad set, you just want to rename, or more specifically, add the name either RIP or dead, just so you know that it's dead, but you still want to keep that campaign data because it has the ad creatives in it. It also has the interest that didn't work. So if you want to refer back to it at a later track, you know it's dead. But another reason to do it is it helps you manage your ad rules. You can use ad rules to manage and making sure that the correct ad sets are turning on and turning off based upon ad set name. And I'll show you how to do this right now. So when it comes to managing your ad sets, it's important that when you have a terrible performing ad set that you include a specific naming convention into that ad set name, so you know when to turn it off and when to turn it on. So I like to use the word dead in capitals because when I'm looking at it physically with my eyes, I can see it obviously. And then also it helps me to run an ad set name, to run a rule around that ad set naming parameter. So we can say ad set name contains dead, and then for instance, continuing on with the ad scheduling, we might say edit custom schedule. And again, we want the ads to turn off and on based around the active ad sets that we know are performing well, and making sure that this these terrible performing ad sets do not turn on. Very, very important. So another really good key feature is changing your Facebook ad rules based upon a specific conversion. So if you're running lead magnets or optimizing for cart or conversions or anything that's desirable to your business, you might not want to use cost per result. So what you can do is come down to the drop down menu and select the actual conversion that you want to optimize for, or you want your Facebook ads rules to run for. So for instance, you might want to turn off ad sets based upon cart conversion cost. So the cost per acquisition to get an ad to cart or a visitor to add something to the cart. You might say that if add to cart is smaller than $5 and I've spent more than $10 across whatever attribution window you want to use, you can turn off the ad set. So again, this is a really powerful Facebook ad rule to make sure that you're optimizing specifically for the conversion goal for that campaign. And this can also help you making sure that if you do something slightly incorrect, it's not applying the wrong rule to your account overall. So it can be kind of important from that perspective as well. So there you have it, guys. All the principles that you need to know to run successful Facebook ad rules. These are really powerful, and I really do urge you to get in there and have a look, have a feel around, start applying them, start using them, and see how they work for you. Drop a line in the comment section below if you are currently using Facebook ad rules, or if you're not using Facebook ad rules. I really want to see how you use them, or if you have any feedback on this video, both good or bad. I really do appreciate it. If you have any topics that you'd like me to discuss, drop a line in the comment section below. But like always, if you want to have a free conversation with me, just come over to my website, brenhamel.com, scroll around and find a button that you can click to fill in a form. So for instance, what happens in these conversations? So about 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with a gentleman in the United Kingdom. He has a unique real estate offer that wasn't performing very well within his Google Ads campaigns. So what I was able to do is have a brief conversation with him, get an understanding of the offer, get an understanding of the business. I went into his Facebook ad campaigns and really went through everything in a really granular fashion, and doing a screen capture video that's private and specific just to him. I went through all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I showed him how to, what to fix, what to test, and what to optimize, and how to scale the Google Ads. So he come back to me a week later after implementing not all, but the majority, and he was able to triple his conversion rate and cut down his cost per acquisition by 2.5 times. The cost per click did go up just a touch, but the overall end result is fantastic. So if you want a conversation just like that for your business, feel free. There's no selling, there's no obligation. It's just a fantastic conversation between yourself and myself. I get to learn from you and how you work within your business, what marketing is working for you, and some business principles and problems that you've had and that you've overcome. And that's how I get to gain a significant benefit from these free conversations. That's why I do not charge for them. So it goes with that being said, if you want to do that, jump over to my website. And so, lastly, but certainly not least, like I said before, if you want fantastic success in your Facebook ad campaigns, you got to smash that subscribe button and smash that like button. So I'll leave you with this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.